Hello there YouTube, this is Nyx. This is a video I've been wanting to make about a mini comic I made a while back. It took at least like 6 months to make it. The mini comic is called Forest Cats. It took me at least 6 months to get this comic like completed and stuff like that because I procrastinated so much while making it. It took a while. Now the purpose of this video is to kind of like take you through the process of making it and my thoughts on it. Now this video is coming out very late because I am not a video making person. I don't know how to make videos, so this video also took a long while because of procrastination, because of just I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I really want to get into video making because I really want to get into sharing my ideas with other people and stuff like that. I've always grown up watching YouTube, and so I really want to get the ball rolling on content making, so feel free to subscribe, like, and do all those other fun YouTube things. Now into the video. Now let's start with the very first and most important piece of any art making process, the thumbnails. Now for me, making comic thumbnails is so fun for some reason. Like, it's really fun to just have these little boxes and then other little boxes inside those boxes and just like drawing out the narrative that I planned out. Now I'm obviously not going to show the writing process because I wrote the basic plot lines of everything a long time ago. I'm probably sure it was like a year before I even started the thumbnails because again, procrastination is king in my life. I procrastinate a lot. I can't get anything done. I need help. The thumbnailing process was so fun. Like, it was so entertaining to like get everything down, to like spew all my ideas on a page. Now the basic concept of this is basically the main character, who doesn't have a name because again it's just a random mini comic, is writing a story. They're having like some art block processing, and during that time they notice a flyer in their room where it says the great outdoors. I obviously changed it later on to say something else. But either way, they get inspired to go out into nature, touch grass and explore nature to get some inspiration. And while outside, they come across fairies and then obviously a cat in the forest, aka the forest cat. And obviously, after meeting the cat, they bond, and then he takes the cat home, and then after that, he finishes his story. Very basic plot. I wonder why it took 6 months to finish this. Now the reason I wanted to make a mini comic was to just basically get some practicing, because I want to be a comic artist. I want that to be my career, my life, whatever you have it, in my future and all that. And to put a little bit of a teaser here, I am planning on making a fully fledged comic, hoping I can document this and make YouTube videos out of it, on entering the Webtoons 2025 contest next year. And I'm playing it right now. I've already got like the plot summary of what I'm gonna be working on, and I can't wait to just like get it filmed and start making content about it, because I want to talk about it, because I hate being in an echo chamber and just talking to myself about things. I want to actually like talk to people about the things that I'm doing and like get people involved, and like, because I hate just talking to myself, talking to thin air, talking to my cat who can't even respond. I basically just talk to my cat about my plots most of the time. And ask for his like opinions on things. He can't say anything. He's just a cute little kitty, and he's currently sleeping right now. So anyway, that's the reason why I wanted to make a mini comic. Now the thing is, I was actually planning on making a bunch more mini comics before like committing to a full-time mini comic. But then the contest came up and I was like, I just gotta do it. I just gotta like throw my hat in there and see what happens, because if I wait too long, I'm never gonna do it. And if I can't let procrastination win. That is the main point of this video. I can't let procrastination win. I have to just do it, and I can't be scared to do things. Like, I feel like that's the most important thing. Don't be scared to do things. Just do it. Otherwise, you're just gonna be stuck in one place for the rest of your life. That's the main reason why I wanted to work on a mini comic. And yeah, can't wait to take you through the process of the comic I'm going to be entering into the Webtoons contest next year. The story is very much fun. I like the idea of it. It's very much inspired by K-dramas because I've been on a K-drama binge lately. But it's a mixture of that and everything else that inspires me in life. Like a lot of webtoons I currently read, like Edith Don't Catch Coals, To the Stars and Back, Countdown to Countdown, Your Wings and Mine, Blooming Zoom, Mismatched, and a bunch of other webtoons, romance webtoons that I really like. And also Trailer Trash. I've also started reading Trailer Trash. I kind of finished the first couple of, not the first couple episodes, I finished a lot of the episodes and it's really good. So I recommend reading Trailer Trash on webtoons as well. Ooh, that comic. So I'm super excited to go through the process and show the process of making this comic. Right now, update, I'm currently almost done with like the chapter summaries, like summarizing each chapter. So, and now we're done with the thumbnails and we're going to paneling, or whatever you call it when you add like panels, I guess. I don't know what you call it actually. I feel like I should know the terminology of these things. I feel like the thing is, I worked on Procreate when it came to making this mini comic, so obviously Procreate doesn't really have a shape tool, which is the one thing that I hate about Procreate. Why does it not have a shape tool, like an actual tool that makes shapes when you hold down, click and press and hold, whatever you call it? Because like that specific part about Procreate bothers me. Now when it comes to making comics, I'm gonna exclusively use Clip Studio Paint on my computer. I haven't been using my computer as much, mainly because I don't like sitting at the computer as much and because my chair is uncomfortable as hell. That's why actually for Christmas I bought myself a new office chair. It's very pretty, very much, it's like a really cute aesthetic chair, but it's not expensive at all. I made sure not to break the bank on it because I'm not gonna spend like a bunch of money on a chair, but I have to like, it's like a balance. You have to spend a good amount of money so you get a good quality chair, but not too much money where you're like throwing money down the trash basically. But yeah, I basically want a chair I can like sit very comfortably in. Anyway, that's why I use Procreate and didn't do it on my main computer, which would be me using Clip Studio Paint, which is going to be the main program I'm going to be using for most of my comic making ventures. And I'm also planning on updating my PC at some point, but at this point we're not updating it yet, but still planning on doing that at some point so it can handle Clip Studio Paint, because currently my laptop is very laggy when it comes to handling Clip Studio Paint, but at some point I get used to the lag and I push through it. But yeah, I've been using Procreate a lot lately this past year, but yeah, I've been using Procreate a lot comparatively to like years beforehand. Like I actually had a hard time adjusting to using Procreate. Like if you go on my Instagram, you'll notice that there was a time where I was making art last year. You'll notice how the art looked, and then you'll see how different certain art pieces look on my iPad. Like you'll notice a shift in how it looks, because like for some reason working on a different program changes your art style so much for like no reason. Like I don't know what it is. Like you'll move to a different program or move to a different device and all of a sudden your art style or like your art skills go down the drain. It annoyed me. That's why like I archived a bunch of like posts I made at the beginning of the year that I made using my iPad because they looked so bad. My art skills literally went down the drain the minute I touched an iPad, but I managed to get back to my original like level of skill when it comes to drawing after a while. But yeah, I don't know why that happens, but it happens. So yeah. Anyway, I really enjoy using Procreate for a lot of reasons, but yeah, I'm not gonna get into right now. But I enjoyed using it, but I'm dying to go back to using Clip Studio Paint. I just want to go back to the one that I know and truly love. Now, throughout the line arting process of my mini comic, I use a specific like textured brush because I love textured brushes. I do not like smooth, crisp, like digital-esque brushes. I like a little bit of texture in my brushes because I don't know, I just love that. It also hides like mistakes and imperfections because I have a very shaky hand, so utilizing a textured brush kind of like eliminates the mistakes that I tend to make because of my shaky hand and stuff like that. And I don't want to over rely on like a smoothing tool, so Anyway, now going into like the flat coloring of this. Now I don't know why it took so much like mental gymnastics to like put down the flats for a comic. Like that's the most tedious and most annoying part about making comic, is putting down flat colors. Like now I know why comic artists, like professional comic artists, have people to do this for them, because Jesus Christ, it is so annoying and tedious and so it's just annoying. That's just the word for it, annoying to do. And it's so annoying to like put things in a certain order and make sure things are like categorized and like put into their files, to their respective files, and layered in a way that makes sense and like helps you with like the whole process of coloring things. But it maybe I'll get used to it and it won't be as annoying once I start making the full-time comic I plan on making. Also, I didn't tell you the title of the comic. I'm planning for it to be called Songbird. Songbird sounds nicer, but it's just about one character, so it's gonna be Songbird. But yeah, the idea of the comic came from, I feel like the inspiration for that comic, can't believe I'm talking about a whole different comic right now instead of the one that I was supposed to be talking about, but there's not that much to say about this mini comic. I already said what needed to be said about it. I just feel like talking about other things, so you get to like know me and my personality a little bit. I'm a very talkative person. Like it's hard for me to shut up once I get going, which you'd think would be easier to make videos because of the fact that I'm a talkative person, but it's not that easy. But either way, the comic that I plan on entering into the contest is called Songbirds. It's basically inspired by like K-dramas like Still 17, and there's another one that I'm forgetting, Castaway Diva. Basically those K-dramas are like really core inspirations for this comic that I'm planning on making. So yeah, anyway, those are the core inspirations. Like I love all those K-dramas. Right now I'm still watching Still 17. I haven't finished it. Same with Castaway Diva. I haven't finished that either. Getting back to the comic that you're actually here to watch. I'm working on like the rendering for this comic was like the fun was the funnest part about anything besides the thumbnailing part. But like working on the rendering and everything was really fun because I love rendering. Rendering is like my favorite part of the process when it comes to drawing in general. I feel like in terms of like ranking, it'd be like rendering, sketching, line art maybe, and then everything else. Although drawing backgrounds has become a big favorite of mine. I've been drawing a lot of backgrounds recently, and I'm very proud of myself because every time I make a drawing, I'm like, oh, it has to have a background. I no longer put my characters in the void. They're no longer floating around in space with nothing else attaching them to the universe. They are in a background, they're in an environment, and they're thriving. And the backgrounds I was making for this mini comic, I very much use like nature brushes. I forget what the actual like category is called. Organic, I believe it's called organic. That brush pack in Procreate that comes with Procreate to make the backgrounds and the trees and the lighting, that was actually the funnest part. It was like painting in the backgrounds because I was like so random about it. I didn't have like a system, which was actually not that great because I should have like at least like chosen colors, specific colors to follow, because I feel like some colors are slightly different than other colors from the same scene. Like they're slightly different, which is annoying. Like I notice it, like some people may not notice it if they actually like, if you read the comic on my Instagram, you can go check it out. It's like the first post on my Instagram because I have it pinned until like I'll have it pinned until like I have another mini comic to put on my Instagram. But I bet a lot of people won't notice the discrepancy, but I notice it, and that's enough for me to get bothered by it. So yeah. But like painting in the backgrounds for this mini comic was so satisfying. It was just fun. It was just fun. I see why people love digital painting or like painting in general, because I'm not a digital painter or a painter. I can't commit myself to that, but in terms of like nature backgrounds, ooh, that is fun. Like that is something I will continue to do for every comic that I make. I basically have like a specific idea and process of how I want to do this. Like In terms of like nature, foliage and trees, that's going to be painted. In terms of like man-made structures, that's going to be with line art and just the basic process of like line art, color, shading on top, and a bit of effects to make it blend in type deal. And I didn't mention it, but for some reason drawing the actual cat in this comic was like somewhat the hardest part of making this comic, because I don't draw actual animals, I just draw anthro characters, which even that is like kind of teetering between like humanoid and like animalistic. I don't know what word to use for it, but I guess anthropomorphic would be the right word to use for it. But my versions of furries and anthropomorphic characters is very much still very human-esque. Like they still have very human anatomy in certain areas, in certain places on their face even. Like even their nose bridges are very like human inspired. And a little bit on my rendering process, I tend to start with the background before tackling the main character in the scene, before anything else. Like if there's a character in the background, I'll render the background first before rendering the character, because after that I feel more comfortable like adding certain lighting to the scene for like the main character to be in, so that it feels a certain way. Like it's just easier to like actually put the character into the atmosphere when like I render the background first and then render the character. But sometimes I do flip-flop it. If I'm not thinking that clearly, sometimes I do flip-flop it, but most of the time I tend to do it background first, then render the character second. Rendering the character in the mini comic was kind of just like a mundane part of rendering. It wasn't as fun as the background or even like or anything else. It was just kind of like something I had to do and I did it type of thing. But yeah. But I don't know how I should handle rendering when it comes to like a comic. I feel like that's something I'll just figure out as I make a comic. It's not something I need to like actively nail down before making a comic type of things. Like something I'll just naturally come into. I don't know. Maybe that's not the best way to think of it, but that's how I'm thinking about it in this current time. But I am obviously like did prepare for like at least the opacity of the shading and the lighting for the characters, so everything else would be consistent when it comes to the character, so that everything looks cohesive throughout, which I don't think it has to be that cohesive, because depending on like the environment the character is in, I feel like the lighting should be slightly either darker or brighter type deal. So yeah, it should be different in certain scenarios. But we are coming up to the end of this speed drawing, or the speed drawing recording. We're almost done with this comic, which thank God, because I really want to get this video up and done and posted, because I haven't been posting to YouTube a lot. I want to get into YouTube a lot more. I don't know when I'm gonna post. I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, because I actually want to create a backlog of content, so like I don't have to stress about making more content, or I don't have any videos to post. Like I just want to have at least like create a couple of videos, so like I can release them weekly. But I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it, because at the end of the day, I want to do this for fun. I want to do this to like interact with people in my own like group. I hope, the thing I do hope for is that my videos reach people who are into anthro art, into comic art, into writing, all that stuff. So if you're really into that stuff, stick around, because I am planning on making a lot of videos around that, and character design stuff, because I do like character designs. I like designing characters, and I really want to do more exercises related to character design. And I also want to do a couple of like comic challenges, like making a comic in 1 week type stuff, but obviously that might come after I get like the ball rolling on the main comic I'm planning on making. So I feel like it all depends. But I like, if I do ever like finish making my comic, because it does have a definitive end, after I finish making the main comic, I can start like doing like mini comics in between them before my next big comic, because I really want to be like well prepared for the next other projects in terms of comics that I want to make in the future, because the one that I'm making now is not like as intensive as the ones that I plan on making in the future. Like the lore isn't as intensive, like the way the world works isn't as intensive, the characters' backstories isn't as intensive. Like it is intensive in the sense of like it has a lot of twists and turns and loops, and it has a lot of things going on to where you're like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen. So yeah, it is going to be an interesting story, but it's not going to be like a difficult story to execute. At least for me personally, it's not going to be difficult to execute. So I hope I'm able to execute it to the best of my abilities. But yeah, I'm actually planning on starting on vlogging the whole process. I'm planning on starting it either today or tomorrow, filming like the character design process, because I am almost done with the chapter summaries. And my whole plan about summarizing everything, or at least like writing things down, I don't really have to get everything written out completely before actually like drawing the episodes. I don't think I actually have to finish writing everything. As long as I know what I'm aiming towards and what I need to plan and what I need to like put in place, then it's gonna be fine for me to just jump into actually like planning the like designing the characters and planning the pages, like all that stuff. And now we're coming up into the very end of the speed paint, me adding the onomatopoeia or the SFX of the comic. I used a white colored brush for this because I felt that it having darker outlines would have been too harsh, at least for this comic's color palette. But obviously in the future I'm gonna try to make them more clear and more visible in future comics. You can pause and take a look at it. I really had fun making this. In conclusion, that was my little video talking about the mini comic that took 6 months to make. Anyway, if you really enjoyed watching the video, feel free to subscribe and stay along the ride of watching all my other content, because I have at least like 2 videos up, 3 including this one, and I'm planning on making a bunch more videos, and I also have a bunch of shorts you can watch. But also feel free to check me out on Blue Sky, Instagram, and I don't remember if I have any other social medias, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and comment what you liked about it and what you think about the comic that I made. Feel free to read it on Instagram. Anyway, bye!